Welcome to Black Hat Windows 2K Security, held February 14th through the 15th, 2001 in Las Vegas, Nevada. The following videotape was recorded live at the conference and produced by the Sound of Knowledge Incorporated. This is videotape number L2, the Thursday Luncheon Address, Cops and Robbers, Cheating Las Vegas.
Systems Research and Development. His talk is going to be Cops and Robbers, Cheating Las Vegas. During the last 10 years, Mr. Jonas has been working with the gaming industry, and he's very good at it. He's been written up in Fortune magazine, Computer World, Signal, and the Chicago Tribune. His latest article in Computer World is this week. He's also been featured on Discovery in the Learning Channel cable systems. He has spoken in the past at the National Information Systems Security Conference and a few gambling casino events. Jeff?
Thanks, Jack. Hello. Hey, Jeff. Well, I live in Las Vegas, and I've lived here about 10 years now. I remember driving in thinking to myself, I wonder how much organized crime there is here, since I'd be digging into the bowels of their systems. 10 years later, the mob, as you know it, isn't here anymore, but there is quite a bit of organized crime, and it's found itself in the way that there's a lot of money that changes hands, and it brings the opportunists out. And the opportunists are converging on the internet, sharing vulnerabilities about the gaming industry. They have these websites where they have these chat rooms, then they do background checks on you to put you in the second level chat room. And the third level chat room, you have to go commit felonious acts. They share vulnerabilities, not just on which casinos, but which shifts, but all the way down to which dealers. In fact, they went out and studied every dealer in the state for a genetic defect in their deal on a handheld 21 game. The first card on a handheld game goes up, and the second card goes underneath. But these 12 people had a defect where they would rotate their hand too much, which would expose the whole card if you were sitting low on the table. So they spent a lot of time cataloging the list, and as you can imagine, that list was very well protected. These are highly organized groups. If you're $100,000 down, you call your area manager, you get another $100,000, and you get back in there. I'm going to show you some of the scams. I recommend that you don't try these. This isn't meant to be how to cheat casinos 101. They'll put us all in jail. This device here is called a mini light. They figured out that when inserted inside of a slot machine, it would defeat the photoelectric eye that counts the coins as they fall. Let me give you an example. You get a cherry. It's supposed to give you 2 coins. This device is inserted in the machine. It is turned on, and it holds the chute open, and all of the money falls out. This is Exhibit A and will be for sale. No. The story here is they cost $6 to build. You buy them for $10,000. Because they teach you how to use them. The more sophisticated devices are remote control. They're mounted in the machine and you don't have to push the switch. Somebody does it remotely. You take a secondary person, tell them to sit on the machine and play. They don't even know why they're winning. They're just told to collect. The new bill validators come out, so you need to put new bills in. The new $100 bills come out, so you got to put new bill validators in the machine. Well, there was a defect between this particular slot manufacturer and this bill validator. A Pacific Rim team discovered the vulnerability. Over a 2-week period, they took $1.2 million. Check this feature out. Okay, you put, first of all, the machine's in a certain state. You put a $100 bill in, and you push a button, and it spits the $100 bill back out and gives you all the credit. You see? So with $100 bill, you get to empty every machine. It took 2 weeks before they realized that they were losing a lot of money. There's a scam called roulette pass posting. This is where you make the bet after the ball falls. Woo! It's done with a distraction team. The ball falls, somebody leans over the table. The dealer goes, you can't bet now, but they've just blocked the eyesight, and somebody pushes the bet up after the ball's already there. Okay, this is card counting 101. There's many forms of it. You can read books on it, but in simple terms, if it's a small value card in your head, you add a point, and if it's a high value card, you minus a point. And you keep a running tally in your head. When the count is small, it means there's not many tens, so you make small bets. When the count gets high, you bet a lot. And this is called bet variation, and it's very easy to detect because you're watching people, they make small bet, small bet, small bet. As soon as the deck is heavy with tens, they start making large bets. Well, the teams have become more sophisticated. They send in the big player. This is a guy that shows up 3 days before the scam goes down, and he walks up to a table and plays a couple of hands at $1,000 apiece, wins and loses some, mainly loses. Come the weekend, everybody loves him, he's getting comps, but that's when the scam goes down. They bring in 5 professional card counters. They sit at the end of the table. They're making the minimum bet. They have hand signals. Sit down and play. Hit, stand, double down, and walk away. The guy's MO hasn't changed. He's just walking around. It's a busy Friday night, and he's making his bets. They're going, now the guy's up 50,000 bucks. They go, well, he was here all week. He was down 20, now he's up 50. Highly organized. Check this scam out. Usually you're watching the money run off the table. This time the player puts up 50 bucks. The house gives you some chips, and you lose them. So the player puts up some more money and gets some more chips and loses them. You're not watching any money leave. This is an insidious scam. It took Sun City, South Africa for $2.4 million. It's called a chip cup. See this right here? It's hollow. It's collusion with the dealer. It goes from the player to the dealer packs it with hundreds, and it goes back to the player, and the player empties it. I'm going to show you this on video. That right there is the chip cup. It looks like a stack of fives. It's hollow. The dealer's going to put it on the $100 tray and fill it with hundreds right there. If the color was better, you'd see that these were black chips, and there's red chips on the tip there. And they're being filled up. It's full of hundreds now. And then it's going to go back to the player. And you never saw the money leave. Sometimes you get collusion between two players. Check this out. These two players don't act like they know each other. They have rehearsed this. This is medium grade skill. The low grade skill, I've seen two ladies take their cards off the deck, they look at each other and they go, That would be low grade, that's your tip. This is, again, medium grade, so watch it carefully. The two main guys here are the bad guys. Well, if you didn't see it, it's already happened. That's because they've practiced this. I'm going to show you that again. Okay, you're going to watch a guy come up here, right there, and block. That's so nobody can see from behind. This guy's going to, watch his hand, he's going to palm a card off. It goes down under his arm, they just lean together. They've just traded cards. Now he's going to put his, boom, he palmed it back up. Huh, pretty good. Woo! Oh, you'll like this one. This one costs a casino $250,000 and it happens in 15 minutes. I'll let you just kind of watch it and then we'll talk about, oh, wrong slide, go back. What's going on around here? Okay, the dealer's in on it. The dealer looks both ways. He's, the deck has been shuffled. He gives it to the player and the player, hey, wait a minute. Did you follow? Here, let's talk about this. The player's got his own deck. Do you think it's shuffled? Do you think it's random? No. Everybody on the table's in on it because you don't want somebody to come in and screw up your sequence. So look, they're all leaning over the table, obscuring what's happening, and the player gives him his own deck. Woohoo! Yeah, this is the real stuff too, you know. Okay, look at this. This button produces infrared light. This one's a camera. This is real police footage. It's mounted to this guy's jacket because there's a camera. He's got focus devices in his shoes, 3 lithium batteries on his back, an antenna system. It broadcasts to this vehicle, which has a satellite dish in it. Huh? Oh, you guys are good. This is the video equipment that is used in the vehicle. It slows down the video, and they radio the player with the cards. It's called Camera on the Game. This costs casinos millions. It's not like it's happened once. So a little simulation here. This is a simulated video. There's a shuffle machine. There's a little hole in it. Everybody look at me. Look at me. Everybody look at me. There's a little hole in the shuffle machine about that big, but it's too dark to see in it, and the cards fall too fast. So the infrared light illuminates it inside the hole. Then the video equipment slows it down. The guy's wearing an earpiece, and you get the clairvoyant on the game. The guy's got a 17, the dealer's got an 18. The player goes, I'm feeling lucky. Hit me! And gets a 4. Over and over. Just about this time last year, a casino got hit. The guy was a clairvoyant. It was a Japanese team, and they had a short sleeve shirt, no watch. And they knew it was a camera on the game, but they didn't know where. They went, oh no, the biocam. For $2 million, who wouldn't put hypoallergenic tubing in, a pin cam? But it turned out to be a fanny pack on the game. But anyway, for 2 weeks, everybody ran around a fanny pack with a little mesh grill. But anyway, you get the idea. I speak in Washington some, and this is the smallest camera TV station right here that's available in the commercial industry. Of course, in the federal world, they like chuckle and go, bulky. 270 lines of resolution down to 1 lux of light, but not good enough yet for gaming button cams. Okay, look, so the surveillance rooms upstairs, you know all those cameras? They look something like this. They have 1,000 cameras, but you can only look through so many monitors. So you're staring at people that you think might be taking you. Well, there's a thing called a Griffin book. If you watch the Discovery Channel, these are the people that publish all the bad guys who count and cheat. For years, one of the problems they had is surveillance rooms have 3 volumes of these books, and they're sitting there figuring out who's on the floor, and they're flipping through these volumes of pages trying to identify them. A couple weeks later, after they've long gone with their 50,000, they might figure out who they are. So one of my little inventions for the gaming industry was this. They go over their intranet. They go say, we want everybody who's 50 years old, plus or minus 5 years, weighing 165 pounds, plus or minus 15 pounds, male, doing something on roulette. And it brings up the short list. In this case, it's this guy right here, the godfather of pass posting. He has a big team, and they pull his record, and he has one AKA, a lot of associates, and intelligence reports on him that run back for years. And what casinos do is they click on these intelligence reports and read all about them, all about their disguises and where they play and their methods and their associates. Then if you guys have seen on the Discovery Channel and the Learning Channel and MSNBC recently, they've shown this. We implemented some facial recognition stuff, so now they just take the face in the crowd. Hey, don't hate me for this. That's all I'm going to say. They take the face out of the crowd, they align the eyes, and they do a search on the facial patterns alone, and it brings up the list of who it looks like. It's not perfect technology, but it's a useful tool, and it happens to be this guy who's ranked 7.24, so he ranked top 10 out of about 6,000 photos. And here, this guy has a ton of AKAs, almost 20 years of intelligence information that's been tracked on him. So look, the gaming industry, much like any industry, tries to protect itself. Well, the gaming industry has so much cash that changes hands, they try to go the extra distance. So these are the standard things that people do in all industries: policies and procedures, hiring standards, background drug tests, employee training, security, surveillance, your own intelligence collection efforts, internal audits. But as soon as you have somebody working on the inside, it renders all of these useless. It's called collusion. So the gaming industry needed something a little bit above and beyond, so this is another little gizmo that we've invented that catches bad guys. I've kind of compressed this. But what's done is you take all the good guys and all the bad guys and you put them all in the same bucket. Whether they've applied for jobs or they're employed, vendors, customers, professional cheaters, people in organized crime, real mob people, because you don't want them showing up, they lose their gaming license, their own intelligence files, and you fuse all this data together looking for relationships. Well, what has this done? Remember the story of a pass poster? It's somebody that makes a bet on roulette after the ball has fallen. So in Louisiana, there's this riverboat, and the surveillance department catches the pass poster, and the dealer goes, I can't believe it happened to me. I'm so embarrassed. Arrest that person. You guys, eye in the sky, are doing your job. The guy arrested has a different last name and a different address. Well, this technology, one of the rules is employees related to bad guys. And it turns out the cheater and the dealer had the same phone. Oh, nice. See, the employee didn't realize that their phone on their employment record could be instantly tied together to the fact that they are now currently arresting somebody, so they arrested the dealer. And there's nothing worse than when the watchers are watching the watchees. So in gaming, that's somebody in surveillance watching the soft count room. The soft count room is where you count all of the cash. So here you pick up that they used to live together. Hey, it doesn't mean that there's any criminal activity. You know, it just means you might want to separate them. In fact, in gaming, they don't let the surveillance people dine with everybody else because they don't want them commingling. They don't put the surveillance people in the payroll system with everybody else because they don't want the payroll people knowing who they are. They put them in the executive compensation payroll systems. So just briefly, how one would go about something like this, you go to the different source systems and you process it and stuff it down in one of these databases. The largest database I've implemented on a Unix platform is 4 terabytes today, has 5,000 physical systems that feed it daily, and it's designed for 80 million people and 1.6 billion transactions here. But if you want to do a good job on a business problem like this, if you have 500,000 users screwing up your data, how are you going to get a consistent result here? So a major part of the story is what do you do with the data? So the thing called name roots. So here's Dickie, Richie, Ricardo. You know, I was briefing some federal folks, and one of them looked at me and goes, at the bottom it used to read Gail and Abigail. Then they go, but we're not watching U.S. citizens. So I'd like to introduce to you Muslim names. In fact, we went on and created root names for most of the languages. As well, you get garbled up addresses. So somebody has typed in, one of these 500,000 users has typed in an address 460 Oak Street. It's really 460 South Oak Avenue, and the zip was transposed. You fix it, and Cimarron was misspelled. Be an example of something you would do before you tried to compress the data. And let me show you some of the results that we've gotten. In the gaming industry, we took 20,000 employees, all the vendors, all their players, everybody they'd ever arrested, and the professional bad guys, and we fused them all together over a period of a couple days. We found 24 players who were really professional bad guys. They kept inviting them back because they were high rollers. Bad. 23 players had relationships to people they'd already arrested. 12 employees were the player. Hey, we got rules around here. 192 employees had possible vendor relationships, and 7 employees, they didn't know the vendor. These employees were the vendor. Woohoo! Okay, raise your hand if that's worked for you. We did a large U.S. retailer, a place we all shop, I suspect. We took 800,000 plus of their employees. All their vendors, including all their different addresses, bill to, ship to, remit to, and everybody they'd ever arrested. We found 564 employees who had a vendor or criminal relationship, and 26 employees who were the vendor. Haha. And then in the last 6 months, we had a governmental entity ask us to do this on some of their data. I've neutered this so you can't tell a thing, or they'd have to kill me. 20,000 employees plus they gave us, 75,000 vendors. They gave us 200,000 people they just characterized as evil. And the other 200,000 they characterized as more evil. We found 140 employees related to vendors. Now the second one's the kicker. When I told them that there were we did this in 3 days. We landed Monday at 11 a.m. and we're done by end of Wednesday. We showed them 1,451 vendors potentially related to the evil people. At this point, in our little show with them, they stopped looking at me and just looked at each other. Because the idea of people installing Coke machines and lights and phones were on this list was very bad. But that's all I can say. 253 employees related to bad guys. 2 vendors were the bad guys. And N, where N is not 0, employees were the bad guy or were the vendor. So I've actually been working on this for about 18 years. It started for a problem for the credit bureaus where people would go to the hospital, spend the night, catch a meal for free. Because they would use their middle name and transpose 2 digits in their social security number. And it would never merge up on their credit file. So roll that forward about 8 years ago or 10 years ago, for the gaming industry, we implemented this kind of technology with the lists of organized crime so that they can make sure that people making reservations and they're giving comps to weren't members of the mob, because they will lose their gaming license. Then we started doing reports for people, where we'd go study their data. But the problem is it's always too late. What you find out is you're staring at the past going, wow, we've been had. Then you run it like a quarter later and they go, wow, we've been had again. We did one report, the report for the retailer, they looked at it and they went, oh. I mean, senior management related to vendors, and it was hot. It was like nuclear. They just locked it up. They never did anything with it. They said they only had 2 people in their organization who were even qualified to look at it. So it kind of been killing me as like on my little pursuit of catching bad guys with technology. So for the last maybe year and a half, I've been working on near real time, how you can find out about it instantly. So we're in the next, say, 90 or so days, we're implementing this for gaming, and this says as fast as things change in these systems, like you enroll for a slot club card, within 8 seconds I can tell you if it's really somebody bad, and I can beep the head of security before they even get the card in their hand. You have this issue where hey, check this scam out. Accounts payable, you're the accounts payable manager. All you have to do is change the name and the address of the vendor 15 minutes before checks are run. Guess what? Woohoo! Goes to your roommate. 15 minutes after checks are run, you change it back. Very hard to detect. And if you do detect it, you typically detect it very late after an audit. So near real-time stuff, I get all goosebumps over because that can be picked up within seconds of when it happens, and then you can alert somebody. So that's kind of what I've been up to in helping the gaming industry catch bad guys. And there certainly is the cops and robbers game here in Las Vegas. Welcome to Las Vegas. Thanks. 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 Hey, Jack, I turned the mic off. Did you turn it on?